Hello guys, this is Akshay JH and today we're gonna see how to sign in using the Firebase using Google sign in method. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky because I'm not gonna teach you the whole thing, but we're gonna take a look at the documentation and how you can do it by yourself. So first of all, what you need to do is go to the docs. Now mostly what I have seen with most of the people, they don't really understand the documentation. Now what we are going to do, we are going to take a look at the documentation and we'll try to understand how it works. So first of all, as you can see that inside the documentation of Android Firebase, here you can see that there is the authentication section. Inside that, go to Android and there it is, the Google sign in. Now if you open it up, here you can see before you begin, add Firebase to your Android project. Now everybody have done that already, so just add your plugin, the dependencies, and your Google services.json file. Now here is my main activity. I'm going to remove the text view. Alright, so next thing it says add the dependencies of the auth and play services auth. Alright, you need to add both of these or else it won't work. So go to your app level Gradle file, and here it is. I'm going to paste both of these and I'm going to reduce the version to 9.2.0. Now sync now and let it sync. Alright, the next thing that it says, whole bunch of stuff. If you haven't connected your app, this is how you do it. And there is one more thing. Google sign in requires an SHA-1 fingerprint to authenticate. So there we need to add that. So what you can do is go down to your dashboard and click on this little options button of your app and go to manage section. Now if you come down to your Android Studio, here you can see that on the right hand side there is this Gradle option. Open that up. Go to if you don't see these options, just click on the refresh button. You'll probably see this. Now go to your app name and tasks, Android. There it is, the sign in report. All right, double click on that and I'm gonna hide this. You can see that you got your SHA fingerprint. Just copy this and go back here. Here you can see that here is the option to add fingerprint. Now add, paste and save. So you have done that too. Now you can go back to your auth section and your documentation. Now there it is, the step-by-step documentation guide. Now there is pretty bunch of code and it's kind of hard to understand, but let me just get it short for you guys what it is written over here. So basically they have written, just copy paste the whole bunch of code and fix the errors. That's probably it. You don't need to worry about any kind of code. Just try to copy paste and understand what it is and try to fix the errors, and then you'll probably be working with it. All right. Now there is one more thing that I want to tell you guys is, you can see that documentation is available for every kind of service, but many of people don't know how to use them to make an app. So that's what we are going to do from now on, and I'll surely explain it to you how things are working in our app, but don't worry about that. Now first thing that you need to do, I'm going to change it to sign in report to app. So whenever we run, we don't open up the sign in report, we run the app. Alright, so if you Google it, Google sign in probably require one button that is provided by Google already. So you type in sign in button and there you can see it gives us the option. Now if you go back to your design view, and there it is, the rendering problem. Alright, so this is the Android Studio problem. I'll probably try to clear it out, but then it will take a lot of time. So what we are gonna do, I'm just gonna give it an ID and I'll call it Google button. So don't worry about that. If you don't see in your design view, it's there is nothing wrong with it. You just need to clean or maybe invalidate caches. Now what you can do, go to your main activity.java and let's set the reference. So private sign in button, because we're not using the simple button. This is the sign in button provided by the Google, and I'm going to call it Google button. Now we can set the reference over here. Google button equals sign in button find view by id r.id.google button. All right, so setting the button is pretty easy. Now if you run the app, let me just run it very quickly, and it is performing full build and install. Let it do that. Till then we can come down to the document section, and here you can see that what it actually do, it creates a Google sign-in option that then we require a Google sign-in API and bunch of stuff. Now what is most important is that it creates a method, and inside the method we are creating an intent for Google sign-in API. Now it will bring up the sign-in option for your Google if you want to use your pre-logged in account or if you want to log into a new account. Then once the activity is started, you choose some account, and once you choose an account, it will go to activity results method, and inside that it will try to fetch check it for the result, and if the results are success, it's going to fire up one more method, that is Google Auth with Firebase Auth with Google. Now if you come down here a little bit down, here you can see that the method is here. Now inside that method, what it do, it just gets the credentials and make sure to that you log in your account. Now if we open up here our device here, you can see that the Google sign in button that we have just added over here, which is not visible in our design view because of the very good Android Studio. Now the error is gone, we just needed a run for the app. Alright, so what you can do is, let's start working with, and let's stop talking. So come down here, come up here. Okay, so first step, just copy paste the Google sign in options to your on create method. Now it will obviously require you to import these statements over here. Now it has created a Google sign in option. Now what is the next step? Let's check. Now what it says, it has created an method for Google sign in. So I'm going to copy this method and let's paste it over here. Now this is the method, so obviously it will go outside on create. Alright, so let's import the intent and auth, and also we need to create an integer for our request code. Now we can easily do that. Private static final int and rc sign in equals, you can give it your own number obviously, and then for our sign in intent we need to create an Google sign in API that we can do very easily. So all you need to do is private Google sign in Google API client. All right, if you Google it, you'll probably get it from so many results, so I'm just gonna call it the same name over here. Now we have created the API client, we need to set it to our, let's just see, Google API client equals new Google API client. All right, not that, undo. Google API client, there's the second option, Google API client dot builder, we require that one. All right, inside the builder we need the context, that is application context. All right, then we need enable auto manage. All right, so inside that we need a fragment activity, which is the current one, and on failure listener. So how you can do that is just type in new on connection failure listener. All right, so it has created a on failure listener. Now after this ends, we need to add one more, which is add API. So inside the API we are going to use auth dot Google sign in API, and we also gonna pass our Google sign in option to it. All right, so after that just build it. All right, so now you can see that our errors are gone. All we need to do is just add a toast or something to just show the error. So you got an error. All right, so toast dot length long dot show. So that's really good till now, and our function is not actually in use. So how we can do that is by our button Google button dot set on click listener. So whenever a user clicks on that button, it should fire up this method over here. All right, so till now everything clear. Now let's come down here. After user selects something, it obviously is gonna provide some results. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna copy this code and paste it over here. Now this is on activity result method, and inside this it automatically checks for everything, and it asks for one more method, and we can just simply create that by alt click. All right, alt enter, sorry. Now the code for this method is also provided in here. If you go down, you can see that there it is, Firebase Auth with Google. All you need to do is copy and paste. Now, as I told you, inside the on activity results is just check for the result, if the result is success or not. And if it is success, it will then sign in inside the Firebase Auth with Google method. All right, let's quickly import everything and auth results. All right, so there are a few things that we still need to fix. All right, okay, undo that. I accidentally tried to import this one, but we don't need to do that. So task import, yep, almost everything is fixed. Now what is left is this acct.getToken. Now obviously this is some kind of error. Now this is not the error. Actually you can see that inside the onResult method, on activity result method, this is just this is passing out the Google sign-in account to this method which we have created. Now inside here you can see that it is receiving that by Google sign-in account, but with a different name. But we have created a name that says account, so we need to change it instead of ACCT to account. All right, one more thing fixed. Now this also uses mauth. The mauth means, as if you guys have done previously the normal authentication, then you may know already what it is. So we're gonna just create an authentication for our Firebase. So Firebase auth, and we're gonna call it mauth. And let's come down here, and I'm gonna set mauth to Firebase auth.getInstance. Pretty easy till now. Yep. Now one thing left, to create a tag for the log statement. So private static final int tag, so this is going to be string tag, just some random main activity. All right, so here inside the toast, instead of Google sign-in activity, our context is main activity.this. So now you can see that we don't have any errors, but we still require one more thing, and that is inside the method, as I told you guys, it will sign in to our Google account. But what should happen after the sign in? So that's a thing to think, but don't worry about that. What it should do, it should go to the account page. So I'm going to create a new activity, and I'll call it account activity. Pretty good till now. Okay, so inside this I'm just gonna add a button, and the button will say come down here. I'm gonna give it an ID of logout button, and the text is going to be log out. Now we're not gonna retrieve any user data, we're just gonna add a button to our account page. Now how we can redirect to it? We need to create an auth state listener to redirect user to that page. So I'm gonna type in Firebase auth state listener, and it is going to be mauth listener. All right, we can set it over here. Mauth listener equals Firebase auth new Firebase auth state listener. All right, you can see that. Now don't forget the semicolon. Now inside the auth state change method over here, it provides us with Firebase auth variable. So we can just type in if. Now this returns us everything about the user. So basically we can say Firebase auth.getCurrent user, and if the user is not null, that means we have signed in. Okay, so what you can do is start activity, new intent, and it is going to be main activity.this, and we're going to send the user to account activity.class. Pretty neat. Now one thing still left inside the onCreate method, we need to set the auth state listener to our mauth. So set sorry, how you do that, I forgot. Add auth state listener, here it goes, and our auth state listener is mauth listener, right? So pretty clear till now. This is a bit complicated, but once you'll get used to the normal sign in option and also with the Google sign in, you'll probably get the Facebook and Twitter by yourself, and I bet that. So one more thing left, we need to set up our sign in method in our Firebase database. So click on it, and we are using the Google sign in. Enable it and save it. Right, so that was pretty long. It's time to run our app. Click the run button and it's gonna again do a full build and install, and that's probably because we tried to add the wrong method. If you remember, it was syncing the Gradle file, but that's okay. So it's gonna take a while, but if you want to take a look at the Facebook login, you can probably do that. This is pretty simple, just as simple as the Google one, but this requires one more thing. You need to create an app inside your Facebook developer account, developer console obviously, and you need to provide the app ID and app secret code to the Firebase, and then you'll probably will be good to go with your, what do you call it, Facebook sign in. Now our app is running. I hope it is running. Okay, I'm gonna click on the sign in button and let's see what happens. So it brings out choose account for tutorial. Tutorial is our app name. Now you can also add a progress bar for our Google sign in, but I forgot to do that. But you can do it by yourself because we have tried it so many times. Now you can add account from here obviously, and also you can use your previous account. So I'm going to use this one, TVX Studio. If I click it, you can show the progress bar, which we are not currently showing, and once it is done, it will redirect us to the account page. Now if you go to Google Chrome in your console and let's refresh the users, now you can see that it has signed in. So pretty neat, huh? Now one last thing, and that is log out. In our account over here, I'm gonna say private button. We have already created a logout button, mlogout button, and we're gonna set it to mlogout button equals button find view by id r.id dot logout button. Yeah, then mlogout button dot set on click listener, new on click listener, and what it should do, obviously we're gonna need our Firebase auth mauth. All right, and mauth equals, yep, that's the one. So here mauth dot sign out. Sign out is pretty easy. Now again, as we did in Google sign in, it signs in, but how we check the user is signed in and what it should do after the sign in was done in mauth state listener. Now the same thing applies to the sign out. It signs out, but what should happen after the sign out is going to be inside our auth state listener. So private Firebase auth dot auth state listener, and it's going to be listener. I think I misspelled it. Nope, don't worry about the spelling. Mauth listener equals new auth state listener. Make sure you put the semicolon, and as I told you, it returns things about users. Yep. So Firebase auth dot get current user, and if it is null, that means we are logged out. And if you see in main activity, we were checking if it is not null, that means it's signed in, and if it is null, that means user has signed out. So once it is signed out, start activity, new intent, and this is the account activity dot this to main activity dot class. Pretty neat. Also you can set the flags, maybe clear the flags so user won't be able to go back. But if you are using the Firebase auth state listener, so that means it won't happen. You don't need to worry about that. One last thing, on start we need to set mauth dot add auth state listener mauth listener. So let's run the app again. So much code. and let it installing restart patches. Once you run the app, we are already signed in. If you remember, here it is, our page. If I click on the logout, there it is, our home page. So that's it for this tutorial, and I want you guys to go to the docs and try out the Facebook login and Twitter login as well. Now if you get any error, if you want me to make a tutorial on that, you just let me know in the comment section and I'll surely do that. But what I want you guys to do is try to understand the doc, what it says, and if you get any error, if you need something from extra from the doc, you can always Google it, and Stack Overflow has the answer for it. So I'll see you guys next time. Till then, keep learning.